Right. So good morning, all of you. Right. We start database classes. Database classes, guys. Okay. So as for database classes, we say that we start the one MySQL. MySQL classes. All of you. Okay. Right. Huh? Oh, sorry, my class came up. From default name, that's why it came up. Right? MySQL classes. All of listening here. Right? Oh, start only. So before starting the MySQL database and MySQL classes, first we'll see the introduction about this MySQL. Like at least what is the data? What is the database? What is DBMS? And what is SQL? What is MySQL? These are all definitions we see, and then we start the queries. Okay, right. See, generally, if you take any business, guys, compulsorily what is required? Data required. If more data is there, automatically the base increases. If less data is there, no increment more, right? So data means it's about customers' data, about products data, enough, right? Suppose let's take our institute, guys, right? Okay. So here, which data required more? The students' information required more, not the customers, not the employees. Students' data more required. If you have the more data, I send message to all the people about the new batch. Out of all the people, at least 25% will give reference to the friends. So I get the more people. I have the only 100 members, only contacts, only 100. I send the message to 100 members. Out of 100, maybe 20 members give reference. Means 20 will join the class. I have 1 lakh students, contacts are there. 1 lakh students. I send to message all the people. Out of 1 lakh minimum, 10,000 will react. Then how much difference will come? 10,000 will come. See difference between 20 members, 10,000 members. So what is difference here? Because of the data. That's why. So here data is most important for any kind of organization, for any kind of the business. Okay, right. Let's take for example DMart or any bank. They maintain the data very securely. The customers' data. Go to DMart. They maintain the customers' data, the products' data also. Both required. Or go to bank. The bank they store the customers' transaction details, end-to-end transaction details, right? So here to store all the data, we require some place. We require the place. You cannot store the data in the nodes. In the files means nodes, for example, nodes, documents. In the files, you can't store the data. Nowadays, nobody is using the files to store the data. Now, we are using what here? Database we are using to store the data. Suppose if I use the file to store my data, to write my data, that's called file management system. What you call? File management system. When if I use the files, if I use the DBML database to store my data, that's called what? Database management system. So there are two types are there in the industry. The first one is called the FMS. What's first one? FMS. It stands for what? File management system. File, right? FMS. Second one is the DBMS. It stands for what? Database management system. So FMS, DBMS. In IT industry, nobody using the FMS. In any business, mainly in the towns and cities, nobody use the what? FMS. If you use the FMS, it's very difficult to maintain. Please come both in the side. Satish, from the side, move inside. Enough, right? So maintaining FMS is very difficult, guys. Maintaining the file for writing the purpose very difficult. For example, imagine, guys, let's take the villages for example. In villages, still they're following what here? FMS. If you go to small shops, there's a business only, but they don't know how to use the business database. What they do, they made on paper. One book they maintain. They had the customer names, they had the products names. They make still papers. That's called what? FMS. FMS. Okay. So, but here FMS, what's the problem? What's the problem? For example, guys, this is the file. This is the file, right? So today morning, when customer came, his name is suppose some Sai, his name. Okay, he bought suppose 10 products, guys, 10 products. He has given suppose 5k rupees, and some pending is there. Pending also 5k. In villages, they say that tomorrow I'll give, day after tomorrow I'll give. Generally, right? That's called khata, right? Yes or no? India also called khata, I think, right? So 5,000 pending is there. How much pending? 5,000 pending. For example, tomorrow, this is what today he wrote now in the paper, fine now. But tomorrow he's coming and you want to give the 2,000 rupees. At that time, what does he do? What does he do here? He can't modify this one now. He make the strike line on like on paper means fixed, right? What does he do here? So out of 5, how much giving? 2 is giving it like this. And how much pending is there? 3 pending is there like this. Again tomorrow 1,000 rupees giving. Again striking this one. Again writing here. See, it looks clumsy. In papers, it looks very clumsy to keep on modify, to keep on delete. Suppose everything is cleared. Now I want to remove. What do? I make the one strike line like this. Means now Sai taking the all products, given the total money. Now there's no borrow from the Sai like this. Give the strikes. Like that, imagine 10 names are there. 10 names are there. So always strikes will be there to update or to delete. Update means today some amount giving, tomorrow some amount giving like that. But database is very easy to handle. Very easy to modify the existing data in database. That's why in 1980s before, we used always to on my FMS. In 1960s, 70s, the companies also used FMS only. But in the 70s, 80s, databases came up. Then the companies forget about the FMS and using what here? DBMS. In DBMS are very easy to update and delete operations. Okay, right. So now we're using DBMS, right? Means we need one place to store the data. One place to store the data. That place is called the database. Database, right? Recently in an interview, they asked, tell me some examples of databases. Some examples of databases. He said that Oracle, MySQL, SQL Server, all. That's okay, which is not visible. We cannot see those databases. But said that, tell me some normal examples. So daily we see the databases. Some normal examples, not about technology, normal examples. I think I didn't get the point. He said that your brain is the one database. Why in your brain we are storing a lot of information since childhood, writing all the exams. How? Because the brain knowledge is there. What is there? Knowledge is there. So brain also on the database. Take the water bottle. In the water bottle, what is there? Some data stored. What is data? In anything. Maybe lunch box, water bottle, or stomach also. 24 full busy, right? Stomach. 3 times, 4 times full busy. What stored here? Food stored. Which food? It can be anything. Maybe on the roadside food, hostel food, restaurant food, anything. But food stored. Yes or no? So means everything is a one database. All right? So in the database, what do? I store the which one data? I store the data, guys. And who stored the data in the database? Who stored the data? Someone compulsory should store the data. Data automatically doesn't go. It doesn't go automatically. Somebody must store, right? In stomach also, the food doesn't go automatically. We have to move inside compulsorily. Here also, in the database is the database, guys. The database, as a human being, as a developer, as a customer, we have to store the data. Okay, we have to store the data, guys. So to store the data compulsorily, okay, one person required compulsorily, right? Now imagine this is the one person, guys. This is the one person. Just imagine like this. He is the person, not the alien. Okay, all of you. Right. So this person is the employee, IT employee, for example, right? Now what does he do? He want to store the data in the database. The database, he wants to store the data, right? Now he's saying that, hey, database, take my data like this. He's saying simple English. What is saying now? Database, please take my data. We are friends like this. Does it allow his words? No. Why? Doesn't know what you are saying. Laptop is there, I am there, laptop go there, which does it go? Doesn't go. We have to do it manually, compulsorily, right? So in this case here, so he has to use one common language which understands between the developer and the software. The software actually. The software don't know English language, don't know Telugu language, don't know Odia language. But I know, for example, as a human being, we know English, we know Telugu, we know Odia, right? So it doesn't know and we know. But what does it know? It knows SQL language, the database technology language, SQL language, but we know English language. Our English must convert as a SQL, then only it interacts. Otherwise, the communication problem is there. I'm afraid. So here, whatever you want to say, compulsorily between both of us, what must be there? One translator must be there. Translator must be there to convert the language. Convert the language, right? For example, imagine in Hyderabad, in one village, all knows only Telugu. They know only Telugu, they know, for example, guys. Now Modi want to speech here about the coming elections. Who? The Modi. Is coming here, is speaking Hindi very well, but people don't know what is speaking. Then what is the use? Any use is there? No use. Before meeting, 1,000 members are there. End of the meeting, who will be there? Modi will be there, security will be there. No other people will be there. Why? No understanding. Then they can't be there. That's why what they do, they keep the one translator. They keep the one compulsorily translator, right? Here also between database and the user must be one translator. So what does it do? Whatever I write, it understands first of all, it understands, then the same operation applies on the database. Maybe insert the data. I want to insert the data, read the my query. It understands, it applies on which one? On the database. Maybe add the data, maybe remove the data, maybe modify the data, fetch the data, all operations are. But understand by whom? One translator. It applies on the database. You get the response from database, and giving to whom? Giving to the data, again, the user. All right. So here, so we store the data, and here, which language we are using? This is which language here? SQL language. The databases understands SQL, okay, SQL language, guys. SQL language. This translator is called the DBMS. What you call? DBMS stands for what? What is DBMS? My question is, what is DBMS? Not what is the full form DBMS? What is DBMS? Anyone? Translator, one word, that's all. Collection of data, na? Is that no? What happened this one? Now all of observe here. What's the spelling here? D. Okay, D B, right? M, yes. All observe here. So DBMS is a software which manage the database. This is software, right? It's software which manage the database as per the user requirement. It's the definition. Okay. What definition here? DBMS is a software or collection of softwares. A software which manage the database as per what here? User requirement. I want insert, that's my requirement. I want insert data, that's my requirement. So this DBMS also insert the data. I want fetch the data. I'm telling to what here? Interpreter. I want fetch. What does it do? It fetch the data. I want update. I'm telling to whom? This translator. DBMS. It says that fetch the data like this. So whatever you want to do, that's doing by whom? The software. And what here on the database? Because as a user, I can't do directly. I can't do it directly because of a communication problem. That's why I'm keeping what here? DBMS. Okay, right. Here you can see 5 names, guys. You can see 5 names. These 5 are the building blocks of any software, any software, right? These 5 must required for any software, for any business. Without data, first of all, without data, there's no business. There's no business. So data is there now for business purpose. Data is there. To store the data, what is required? Database required. And who store the data? The user required to store the data. But user cannot store directly by using which one? Some translator. And that database understand which language? SQL language. SQL language. All right? Okay. So these 5 are the building blocks of what here? Any software. Data, database, user, language, and this DBMS. This DBMS. In FMS, by using on that file, we perform the operations, writing manually. By using DBMS on the database, I can easily perform the operations. Either insert the data operation, delete the data operation, modify the data operation. I can do all by using what here? By using the DBMS. All of clear? Right. Now, just keep waiting, all of you, the notes. So for the SQL, maintain the separate nodes are at the end of the Python nodes, not combination of one page Python, one page MySQL, one page UI. Don't make all in one. Make it in the other side, or else make it in the small nodes. Do one thing for MySQL, for UI, make a separate nodes. Next we have the MySQL, right? Later we have the MySQL also as part of full stack. For MySQL, for UI, maintain the one nodes. For Python, make separate nodes. Okay. Right. So first of all, let's talk about what here. Let's talk first of one by one. We'll see first one, right? What's the main one here? Data. Yes. Now all of keeping MySQL database or MySQL processor. Right there. First keeping data. Some good connection. What's first one now? Right, data, guys. Okay, data. Yes. So what is data? Anyone? Collection of information. Collection of what? Elements. Correct. Any other word? Collection of what? Data means what is data? Now all of you observe here. All of you observe here. All of you observe now. For example, I am giving few words, and see there. I said that data is a collection of raw facts. Raw facts. Raw fact. See now. Raw fact means suppose I take Python, one word, just multiple. Each word is one raw fact. Okay, Python. Okay, this suppose right full is right. Next one stack. I take the class. Now here, how many raw facts are there? Each word is one raw factor. How many words are there? 6 raw facts are there. This all collection is called data. That's all. But any meaning is there here? No meaning. So data means collection of raw facts without meaning. Means every word has the meaning. Python meaning is there. This meaning is there. Full meaning is there. Is meaning is there. Class meaning is there. Stack meaning is there. But combinedly meaning is not there. Combinedly, if you see, there's no meaning. So means collection of raw facts without proper meaning is called what? Is called the data. At the point, data. Data is a collection of raw facts. collection of raw facts, without proper meaning, without a proper meaning. It's always data has no meaning. Just take this example, guys. Take the same example. Taitana, this full is a class stack. Right. So here each word is one raw fact. One raw fact. Each word is one raw fact. And each raw fact has a has a meaning. It has meaning. Each raw fact has a meaning. But there is no meaning. When we see or when we read, right? When we read the complete raw facts, or all raw facts. Oh, right. This is the data. Data and other word is information. Information. Now, what's information? Collection of meaningful data. Correct. See, means if this data, if I process or if the data I keep in the order, some meaningful sentence will come. That is called information. Means if we order the data or we execute the data, or if we process the data, then that is called what here? Information. So information is the ordered data or processed data or executed data. Result of data is the information. All of right. Just observe here. One more point. Suppose this is the computer. All of observe now. This is the computer. That is the computer. In the computer, what is there? Generally processor, right? All of you. Generally we have the processor. Yes or no? Spelling right or wrong? Very good. So correct spelling. Now what do we do here? To the computer as a input, we give the what here? Data. In the data, so data is giving that processor do some operation on the data, then output will come. The output is called information, right? Information, guys. So I am giving the which one input here? Input to the computer, right? Input and so processor, what does it do? Processor it performs some operation, right? It performs some operation here. Processor do some operation, all of you. Right? It will do some operation here, and some output will come, right? After operation, output will come, right? Output will come here. That input is called what here? Output, right? This input is nothing but what here? Data is the input. And what's output here? Information, right? Information is the output. Means we're giving data to the computer as input. The computer processor do some operation, then information coming as the output from the computer. That's why the information result of what? Result of the data. All of you. Information is what? Result of the data. That's all. All clear? Right. Take the point here. Take the keep it now. Next one. Information. Right? Information. Right. Information is is a result of what? Result of what? Result of data. Result of data which is processed by, which is processed by which one? Processor, right? By the processor in the computer. Next, one more point also, you can say that here. Next point, information is a reordered data or executed data. Information is a reordered data or executed data, or you can say that here processed data, like this also. Take the same above example, a reorder. See what information here? Reorder data, right? This data I'm going to reorder. Then what output comes? Tell me now. The same raw facts. The same raw facts. This reorder. If reorder, some meaningful sentence will come. What's information? Tell me now. Which one? This is Python full stack class. That's all. Now, all of observe, in case of data, every word is the raw fact and every raw fact has the meaning. But full sentence, no meaning. In case of information, every word has the meaning, plus full sentence is the meaning. Means information is always having the correct meaning. Right there. Right here, here every raw fact has meaning, right? Meaning and the complete information also has a meaning. That's all, guys. Just the basics, very important. What's one? Right. If it's over, then take this picture, guys. Just input output like this. Take this one. Important. And over. Okay, fine, no problem. As I told you, don't take running notes. I give every step. This is what here, right? Computer, guys. Over? Right. All of observe. Suppose somebody asks you a simple difference between data and information. You can say this difference, guys. Data means what? Information is what? A simple word. Whatever you give to computer as input, that is data. Whatever coming from computer as output, that is called what here? Information. Simple difference. Okay. Take that point also. After image, take the point here. Whatever we give to computer computer as input is called what? Is called data. Is called data. Next, whatever we are getting from where? From computer. From computer is called what? Is called information. Is called information. Right. It's all about the data. Now, second one, what here? Keep it in database. Next one, database. Database. Okay, database. Right. Now, all of you observe here. So, tell me now, what is the definition of database? A simple definition of database. Database, definition, simple definition. Stores a large amount of data. Maybe large amount or a small amount, it's a storage place simply. Database is a storage place. What you store, that's our requirement. All right. So what's database here? It's a place where we store the data. We store the data. Technically, what are the databases? Then we say the names: Oracle. Technically, Oracle, MySQL, SQL Server, MongoDB, so many are there. Our general databases means you can say anything, or brain, glass, lunchbox. These are what here, a storeroom. Storeroom also database. Why? You store a lot of data stored there. Very secret with lock also. Right? Why in the storeroom we have the right all similar things, right? All of you. Right there, right a point there. Database. 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 Database is a place. Database is a place. Where is a place where we store data information. Which one? The database, what do you store? Data information. Data. So the database. Right? If you store information, it's called what? Information DB generally. But store the data on a computer. That's what's called a database. Okay. Where you store the data? We store the data. Like some examples. Guys, okay, or book also. Like what are the examples here? Like give me some examples, normal examples. Book. Next one, brain, storeroom. Next one, glass, for example, right? Mobile. Mobile very important, right? Mobile, WhatsApp. Right? See, mobile has the lock. Again, WhatsApp has the again one more lock. Two locks. Why? For more secure for the which one? For data. Right? Mobile. More secure. Right. Anything else? And so on. Right? So many things are there, guys. Computer, laptop, all. Mobile. Okay, mobile like this. Right. Technically, the databases are which one? Right, you can take the Oracle, then MySQL, then Oracle, SQL Server, then MySQL, and so on. So many MongoDB are there, PostgreSQL is there, right? Right. It's database, right? All of you. It's a database. Next one, user. What's a user? See, I told you 5 things right here. I told you 5 things which are the okay building block software. Data, now we know. Database, we know. Next one. Let's take the user. Next one. Who is the user? User is a person. Is a person or a software which load the data. See, generally as a user, as an employee, we store the data. Sometimes the program store the data. If you see in the real time, sometimes what happens is the program will store the data. The best example is, let's take the DMart guys. Every DMart database is there, every DMart. So as a customer of the or employee of the DMart, I load the data since morning to evening. In Hyderabad location, one DMart, for example. In Bangalore, one more DMart. Or in one city, a lot of DMarts are there. We store the data always. End of the day, from all the stores, the data go to the main branch. So all of you, right? End of the day, from all the stores, the data go to where? Main branch. At what time? At night 11 o'clock, at 12 o'clock, up to 10 o'clock, data DMart opened up. Up to 10 o'clock. After 2 o'clock, then the data go to where? From the stores to main branch. Main branch where CEO is there. Head of the business is there. At that time, how the data go? At 11 o'clock, 12 o'clock, the employees will not be in the office. So at 11 o'clock, there is a program. One program will be there. What's the program? At 11 o'clock every day, take data from the store, load in the main database. Like that, one program will be there. It's like an alarm. Every day keep in the morning, keep the alarm, right? One day you set the alarm, daily it rings automatically at same time. There also there is a program. Every day at 11 o'clock, at 12 o'clock, start the loading data from this database to main database. At that time, close the laptop, no problem. No current, no problem. But internally, it works. All of right. We don't need a human being there. Nobody is there. Everything is locked. But still, internally, the program execute. The program loads data from local store to the main store. That's why. So here, user means maybe person, maybe program also, guys. Maybe a program also. Okay, right there here. User, right? User. User is a person or program which stores data where? In database. Okay, in database. Okay, right. Next one. What is the next one, guys? DBMS. Okay, DBMS. DB, right? DBMS. It stands for what? Database Management System. This is the present one. Before DBMS, what was there? FMS. Okay, in cities and towns, right now you have the whole DBMS. More in IT field, any business field, large business, you have the one DBMS, no FMS. But still, where is FMS? In villages, still they're using the FMS. All right, nowadays, one app came, right? Khata book. Right, nowadays Khata book, that app came, right? But still, the villages for which one? FMS only. In more remote villages. In small towns, or a person who is doing business is educated person, they're following the apps. But villagers don't believe the apps. The villagers, they do not believe the apps. I think that somebody will cheat us. You know, the villagers will not go to bank also. Why? They think that bank will cheat us. They don't use the, see, suppose if I do phone pay to my father, he will scold me. Why phone pay doing? They will cheat us. Don't phone pay, come to home and give the money. That's all. That's what they want. But at the world, running behind the IT, but villagers, they not believe anything here. They say that they will cut the money, They will cheat us. So don't use the more technology. That's why if you take the money from the students, they'll bother parents. Why money may cut by technology, not by students. So take care everything. That's what happens because of villagers, their mindset like that. Okay, right. So remember what DBM stands for what? DBMS stands for DBMS stands for what? Stands for database management system, right? System, yes. Right. DBMS allows us to perform. All of you observe here. So DBMS allows us to perform operations on what? On the database. Love clear? DBMS allows us to perform operations on what? On a database. On database. Right. Previously, which one we have? Previously, okay. We followed which one? We followed FMS. Stands for what? File management system, right? File management system. Where we use files to store the data. Right? So what happened here? We used the previous, that's why it was difficult to use the files to store the data, to modify the data, to delete the data. Means to perform the hard operations. Which operations are hard operations? Hard for hard, CURD, hard operations. C stands for create. Create means adding the data. U stands for means modify the data. R stands for means reading the data, and D stands for delete. These four operations are difficult to perform on what? On the file. That's why now they're very easy to perform on what here? On the DBMS, it's in the database. Okay, write the point there. So it is very difficult to perform hard operations on the files in the bracket, keep the FMS on the files. So nowadays all are using what? All are using the database, the bracket DBMS. So card, C stands for what in the card? Just I give the only one point about each one. C stands for create, right? C stands for create. Create means what's the meaning in this case? Adding, right? Adding data like this. Adding or inserting data. Okay. Adding or inserting data. Next, U stands for what here? Update. Update means what here? Modifying, right? All of you. Modifying data, right? Modifying data. Next, CUR. R stands for what? Retrieve. Retrieve means what here? Reading or fetching the data, right? Okay. So reading or fetching, right? Data, guys. Then D stands for what? Delete. Okay. D stands for delete. Delete means what here? deleting data or remove, right? Deleting or removing, right? Removing data. Now we have seen four things. Data, out of those five, data we know, database we know, user we know, and DBMS we know. What's fifth one? Out of those five, what's fifth one? What is there? SQL, right? SQL. All of you, this far over. Now just this diagram, everybody. Or right. Now 4 over, right? What's fifth one? SQL, right? Now keep reading SQL. Keep reading SQL language. Up to now, what is our guys introduction over? Now start the main one. Which one? SQL. Okay, all of you. Fifth one is what? SQL language. SQL language. That's all. Right. Now all of you observe. SQL stands for structured query language, right? Structured query language. So first of all, tell me now why this language is used. This language is used between two users or between two softwares or between user and software. User and software. Which software? Database software. All right. So SQL language is used to provide communication between user and the database. Well, database, software means don't think of WhatsApp or Facebook. No, it's between which one? User and what? Database only. Right, that point first of all. SQL stands for what? Structure, right? Query language. Structured query language. First name SQL, right? Currently SQL. But before SQL, one name is there. SQL shortcut name, but before one more name is there. That is renamed. What's the first name of SQL? Anyone? Now, simply SQL. Before SQL, one more name is there. Okay, leave it. We call SQL. Some people call another name this one. Which name? SQL language. SQL, right? Observe, don't write. Observe here. Spelling SEQUEL. SQL language. Some people call SQL language. Some people call it SQL. Don't think what is SQL. SQL same SQL only. But it stands for what here? Here, S stands for same. Not SAP. It stands for what? Same structure. Then what is that next one? E. E stands for what? English. That's all. Next, what is there here? QUE is there. It stands for query. It stands for query. Last one, what here? Which one? This one? Language. That's all. Simple. What is there? Previously SQL. They kept the name SQL. Nothing but a structured English query language. But later renamed as simply SQL. Same structured query language, right? At a point there, guys. SQL, right? Previously, it was a SQL, okay? SQL, right? SQL language, guys. SQL language. It stands for this one. Structured English query language. Or right. Now observe here. SQL language. SQL language is used to provide communication between what? Communication between user and what? Very good. Database. User and the database. A database. User and database. Right? Next one, guys. SQL language has some sub-languages. SQL language has some sub-languages. Anyone knows? Sub-languages. Anyone? There are 5 sub-languages. Don't think that you should learn all the sub-languages. Very simple commands are there. The name sub-language, but that is just 4 commands only. Anyone guys, sub-languages? Very good. First one is called DDL sub-language. It stands for which one? Data definition, right? Definition language. Data definition language. Second one is the DML. It stands for what? Data manipulation language. Next, third one is a DRL. Next one, okay. DRL stands for data retrieval language. Data retrieval language. And the fourth one is a DCL, data control language, and the fifth one is a TCL. It stands for transaction, right? Transaction. Which one? Control language. Transaction control language. Or right. So many types are there? 5 types are there. What's first one now? Second one? Alaf, what's first one now? What's first one? Second one? Third one? Fourth one? Fifth one? TCL. Okay, 5 types are there. So see, every database has 2 types of employees. Database developers, database admins. All of right. Every database has 2 types of employees. But first one is called database developers. Second is called database admins. Okay, that's why developer admin 2 jobs are on the database. If you write the queries by using DDL, DML, DRL, you are the database developer. If you write the queries by using DCL, TCL, you are the database admin. Generally, previously the courses are there: database developer course, database admin course. Database developer course, database admin course. Developer course means they learn which one? First 3. That's all. Admin course like SQL DBA. You heard the word SQL DBA, Oracle DBA. DBA stands for database administrator, right? Okay. Those people focus mainly the last 2. All right. Okay. Now all of you observe here. All of you observe now. The database has 2 types of employees, guys. Right. This is the database. Okay. And here 1 type of employees are there. Right. And here other type of employees are there. Oh, very big head came. Right. So here 2 legs are there. Right. So let's take this first person is the which one? Database developer. The first person is database developer, right? Database developer. Okay. And the second one is called what here? Database admin. Database admin, right? Admin guys. As database developers, what do we use? Generally, DDL, DML, DRL. These are the sub-languages we use. And admin, DCL, and TCL, right? TCL, they use guys. They use these two only generally, DCL and TCL. So developers, what they do? They develop the which one? Database. Admins, they control the database. They control the database. Data controlling. Developers develop the database. Admins, they control the database. Okay, all of you. So what they're doing here, developing database. Okay. So developers are which one? Developing, right? Developing what here? Database. Developers are developing database. But admins are right. So admins are controlling. That's why DCL. What is see here? Control. TCL. What is see here again? Control. Both control, right? Admins controlling, right? Controlling the database, guys. Controlling the database. So for every database, both components required, guys. Admins required the database, okay, and developers required, right? So this one over, right? Write a point. Take this one. Or else take one point here. Every database required developers and admins. Developers and admins are like below. Like below. Like below. Okay. Now, take this one, all of you. Take this one. This is the what? Database. Okay. All right. So as a developer, what do we do? Tomorrow onwards, we start learning what here one by one. DDL, DML, DRL. So today, just to give an introduction, the SQL starting only. So tomorrow start the what is DDL. In the DDL, just see, don't think that again DDL very lengthy one. Each one has 3-4 commands only. Create the table command, delete the table command, modify table command. Some commands are there. So tomorrow we see the installation. Plus start the which one by one sub language. Okay, all of you. Thank you so much, all of you guys. Bye. So tomorrow class is there. I think tomorrow festival, right? But still early morning, no festival, right? So class is there tomorrow. Thank you, Ramji. No class is there.